Good Sir Rich.
Hello.
Which movie video game do you think is the best one?
The best? Well, actually, it's not one, it's two.
Go on.
So I'm kind of cheating maybe a little bit.
All the rules, so do whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, I feel...
Oh, no.
That's staying in.
Morning, Ewan.
Hello. I'm good. I feel, it's a nice, lovely Tuesday. I remember the days of the week, yeah.
Well, today we're talking about our favourite video game movie tie-in. So, which one's your pick?
Tie-in? I thought it was just video game movies.
Almost like I'm stitching you up.
Well, Julio, my favourite movie video game ever is James Bond, Everything or Nothing, which came out in 2003. It had Pierce Brosnan, it had Judi Dench, it had Willem Dafoe played the villain. It was really cool. They got Richard Kiel back to reprise his role as Jaws, and a banging theme song. Rich does his best impression every Friday.
But that's, sorry to interrupt,
yeah.
that's really strange, because
Yeah.
I think I know the James Bond franchise quite well. I don't remember that being one of the films.
Oh no! It was set in the movie verse, so it was like meant to come out after Die Another Day.
Oh, like the new Spider-Man, set in the same.
Well, no, that's a comic book video game, Scott.
Right.
It's like literally based on the comics
like
IP.
a book, so
Well, no, because it's based on the movie interpretation of the book IP. It's not a movie video game if it's not based on that little bit.
You do need the movie part though.
Well, no, it is. It's literally the most movie video. It's got John Cleese in it, mate.
Which movie we're basing it on?
It's a James Bond
Right.
movie video game. It has got all the characters, the actors.
2003.
3.
Right, yeah, that was when the movie came out.
Well, no, it's not a tie-in. It's a movie video game.
Is it though?
Yes, it is literally a movie video game. They got everyone back to do
Back
it.
from where? There was no movie though!
So Pierce Brosnan never starred in a James Bond movie?
Yeah, but that's not what it is! Otherwise we could have, well, yes, you could have Goldeneye.
But yeah, everyone who played Everything or Nothing will remember that it had a really good kind of basic third-person action shootery premise. There was a little co-op mode that you could do as well, which was really, really difficult, and they had like old James Bond players that you could play as, and then they had it was just a really, really fun, action-oriented game, and out of all of EA's kind of James Bond games, I would controversially say that this was better than GoldenEye. There was a few others that came out. There was Nightfire, there was they did From Russia with Love in 2006, which had Sean Connery back, so it was like a 80-year-old Sean Connery doing young Sean Connery, so it was a bit weird when it got a little bit saucy. But, Everything or Nothing, great movie video game, and don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise. When your heart's telling you that Everything or Nothing is a movie video game, it's probably because it's right.
The best, my favourite, not just my favourite, but the best movie video game is definitely Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers on the PlayStation 2. Yes! I mean, you can just sort of forget about the Fellowship of the Ring. Was that even a game? I think it was, but I think it was pretty terrible. I did also have Return of the King after it, which was really good, but I mean, just The Two Towers was the one I played the most. To cast your mind back, ladies and gentlemen, to the early 2000s, I'm gonna guess it was like 2002 maybe, The Two Towers came out. Am I right? Josh says I'm right. And Lil Rach and her sister Gillian playing on the PS2, co-op, Lord of the Rings. Rachel, of course, being Legolas, because what a dude. Gillian, of course, being Aragorn, because no one ever wanted to be Gimli. Well, Aragorn had the sword and he had the bow as well. Gimli just had the axes, and it was like, it's not as versatile. But yeah, just cutting through orcs, and oh my god, the co-op mode was so good. It's like local co-op, I feel, was at its peak at that sort of time. We need to bring that back. We need a new, I mean, Shadow of Mordor was great. I'm not saying it's not great. Shadow of War actually was better, but we need another Lord of the Rings Two Towers style local co-op game, because it was just so great.
Describing kind of Dynasty Warriors, really,
Oh,
which is a
stop it with the
fantastic
Dynasty
franchise.
Warriors.
You should definitely check out Dynasty Warriors if you've not already done so already.
I mean, Hyrule Warriors is great, so Dynasty, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Lord of the Rings.
Helm's Deep though.
Helm's Deep though. Da-da-dun. Dun, dun. Helm's what?
Said balls deep.
Balls deep in Helm's Deep.
So you're ready to talk about the best movie video games?
I am indeed.
You've studied the rules.
I think so. I came in when there was like a discussion going on about it.
Yeah.
So Ratchet and Clank, the video game that's based on the movie that came out that was based on the video game counts, right?
Oh, God. No, because...
Why?
Well, it's a game first, isn't it? And plus, it wasn't based on the movie. It was co-developed with it, but it's based...
But it was released at the same time, and it was based on the movie, and it had elements from the movie within it.
It's not based on the movie, though. It's based on the game. The movie is just like its own thing, and the game's like a remake of the original one. Not a remaster.
I'm not going to choose that one. Instead, I'm going to pick one that is absolutely bloody brilliant. I wish I had 3 small bottles to clack together, because it is Warriors, the video game. It is flipping outstanding, that game. It is so good.
Then.
I did, almost. I'm trying not to swear. It's my 2019 resolution. The Warriors video game made by Rockstar was absolutely phenomenal. When I was a kid, I'd just sort of been introduced to the film and its sort of cult classic-y status, and I watched it and I was like, this is just everything. It's flamboyant, it's cheesy, it's got makeup. Young Jules is all about this.
Heavy metal.
It didn't have. It had the use of the word "strange wolf" as vagina, which I need to use more.
Singer
right.
of the Eagles does the song as well.
Very true, and it was just a cool thing about some guys bopping their way back to Coney, and it was just a great film. So when I found out that Rockstar were helming the video game portion of it, obviously after GTA 3 had come out, I was already on board with the Rockstar camp, and the game did not disappoint at all, because not only did it tell the story of the original movie, but it had extra elements telling the story of how the Warriors came to be, and also amazing sub-stories, like how Cowboy got his hat. He found it. That one there, I will always stick out in my mind as just being like the quintessential side mission. Yeah. It's like the rest of them are like, yo, I'm gonna find out how I'm gonna get to, like, how I got this amazing nickname, or how I met this person, or how we beat up this guy together. And Cal was like, I found a hat. To be fair, it influenced me quite a lot though, so it probably had some residual effects. But yes, The Warriors, the video game based on the film, which counts.
Yes, it does. It's nice to have games based on movies, isn't it?
Hey Scott.
Hi.
So you know how the only rule with Shack Faces is that there are no rules?
That's never been established, but sure.
What is your favourite movie video game?
Well, I thought of the Origins Wolverine game, which, to be honest, now that I think about it, I can't remember any scenes in the game that were in the movie, but it definitely came out around the same time, which is maybe all we need.
Yeah, no, the first bit was not related to the movie at all.
No, and I think I think you fight Sabretooth. But yeah, so that game was made by Raven, I think, who just did really great third-person action, and they had this really good idea to represent like Wolverine's healing factor back then, where they actually rendered like 3 versions of him: the skeleton, the muscle tissue, and the flesh. So the more you got shot, the more you got stabbed, it like chipped away at him. So he gradually became more zombie-like or whatever, and then he would regenerate and come back together again. Which, like, even that is a great idea, and that should be in like every depiction of Wolverine in any game. But just the action itself was great. It kind of cribbed a lot from God of War, and there were some fatalities. There's a bit where you pretty much do a fatality on a helicopter.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Because it was dead weird for me when I was little and looking at that and be like, why is Wolverine so violent and bloody? Before in the games, he just used to stab people.
He had his little yellow suit on.
And then nothing happened. But in this one, their heads came off.
Their heads came all the way off. In fact, he starts the game by skydiving without a parachute and just dislocates his entire being and then puts himself back together again, as you do.
Really impractical.
It is, isn't it? I mean, all you needed was a parachute and you could have cracked on with the mission, but it takes him about 2 minutes to put his limbs back.
Yeah, that's the thing. That seems like a really backwards logic.
Yeah, it's not great, but it looks good.
Wolverine's a troubled character. Gasp, shock, horror.
That's how he deals with it. He just plummets into the ground.
He's not a good role model.
No, not really.
That's it. I'm not letting you watch anymore. I have to leave now.
It's fair. It's fair. That bit when he holds the body up into the rotors, though.
You know video game movies, yeah?
Yeah.
Good. Which one do you want to talk about, mate?
Mad Max, mate! Hey! So Mad Max came out in 2015, the same year as Fury Road. It's not directly based on it, but it's kind of like an amalgamation of all 3 films. And I will happily wank this game off until I die, because I really love it. Again,
Sorry,
it's
we're on YouTube. Can you
lovely
use different
juices
words?
all over.
Different
Fondle it off, caress it off, aggressively
Yeah.
caress it off, because I love it. It's one of the best open world games of the generation so far, in my opinion, and was one of the first around the time where everything was all Ubisoft open worlds, where you were just kind of following markers and doing these kind of all-right activities. This was one of the first games I played at the start of the generation to really mesh the context of the world with what you were actually doing. Everything felt important, and I don't really like driving sections in games. When you get to like that kind of crap snap in rage, I just switch off. It's just boring to me. I don't like cars, all right? Avalanche Studios are just really, really good at it, and this is why I'm really excited for Rage 2, because they were awesome at doing this kind of post-apocalyptic mix of shooting, punching, and driving in Mad Max. I think they're going to make Rage 2 what Rage 1 should have been. It's kind of like they took that template and then took the Mad Max license, smashed it together, made this delicious love child, which you don't get from just wanking things off.
Stop talking about.
Can't help it, it's all I've got. It's all I've got. It's all I've got left. So they made this delicious love child, and I'm really, really sad that they couldn't make a sequel because, unfortunately, they released it on the same day as Metal Gear Solid 5. Yeah, just to self-sabotage themselves. Yeah. It's like they didn't want to sell any copies. And I didn't buy it until about 2 years later, but I love it now. You told me to buy it, and now I'm telling everyone in the room, everyone watching, to buy Mad Max. I have no stakes in this. I just love it. I love Scrotus Maximus. And he needs the sales guys. He needs to support his family. He didn't have a good end to this game. I don't want to spoil anything, but he didn't have a good end.
It's true. What are his kids? Scrotus Jr.
Little mini Scrotes.
They were mini Scrotes.
The two best movie tie-in games ever made are the first two Harry Potter games on the PlayStation 1.
Based on books.
Books that became books that became films that became games. Bond is the same. Bond was a book, then it's a film, and then it's a game.
That caused the only problem there was Scott. No.
I mean, yeah, Scott is the main problem here. No. Sorry, Scott. I mean, we could actually just rename this entire Chatty Faces to games featuring John Cleese, because John Cleese is also in Harry Potter PS1 in the first one. He plays nearly Headless Nick, and he's your guide. And I wonder what on earth John Cleese thought when he looked at the script and was like, press the cross button to fire the Flipendo knockback jinx at these blocks. But he's just there going, what the f am I reading? But no, the Harry Potter PS1 games are the best ones in my opinion, and because of my partner loving everything Harry Potter, we have got literally every single Harry Potter game, and the PS1 ones are still the best. I think they're so ambitious in what they did. Like the second one especially was like, hey, have the whole of Hogwarts, and this is on the PlayStation 1. And the story's amazing, the gameplay is really, really good. It is quite tough at times.
I was going to say, did you not get really scared when you were little, when you got the stealth sections and you had to sneak around the bookcases, and if you got caught, they'd be like, what are you doing out of your door?
Yes! In Chamber of Secrets, you have to sneak out of the castle and into the forest, and you've got the teachers milling about. Yeah. And the best thing about that game is just because it was a movie tie-in game from the early 2000s, of course, they got a bit ridiculous. So when you're fighting the basilisk in Chamber of Secrets, it's firing lasers out of its fangs. It's ridiculous, and it's amazing. But no, I love those games to pieces, I really, really do. And Hagrid in PS1, the voice acting is laughably bad, but Hagrid is just this perfectly spherical human being. I imagine, like, if Jules put on loads of weight, it would look like Hagrid in PS1. Just all of the character models in PS1 are just laughably bad, but I love the game to pieces, I really do. Crab and Goyle especially. There's a point when you play like wizard crackers, it's the weirdest thing. And there's a point where one of them walks in and he goes like this. Harry Potter PS1 games are the best movie tie-in games, even though they're books. Shut up, Scott.
That wasn't even my thing. That was Ash's thing.
I think for me, it's got to be Spider-Man PS4.
Does it though?
Yeah.
Does it really?
That classic game that's based on the IPs that comes from a film.
Panels of the comic of the
sketches. Right, my movie game thing.
A game that's based on a movie.
Yes, the things. Game films, not film games. No, film games, not game films.
Okay, yeah.
Except Ratchet and Clank, which is both.
Yeah.
Film, game, film. Game, film, game. Right, the one I'm going to pick anyway is Shrek 2.
God.
What do you mean, okay?
I mean, Shrek 2?
Yes.
Banging game, Scott.
Somebody once told me the world is...
It wasn't me.
Shrek 2 is amazing. It's just such a fun game. Like all the other ones we spoke about, yes, are good. But they ain't Shrek 2, are they? They're not Shrek 2.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Well, everything about Shrek is amazing, and that it got a game that replicated all of that weird, quirky strangeness is fantastic. And you start off in the swamp and you're with Shrek and Fiona and Donkey, and you got to go around and you got your little team and you got to swap over and do each other's powers. So Shrek can bosh stuff because he's a big old green guy, and Fiona can slow down time for no reason at all. And
Donkey do.
Donkey uses his feet to kick things, I think, or he spits things.
They had a kick because there were like certain switches and doors and stuff you had to open with Donkey's feet.
Are you telling me that he doesn't make waffles?
He doesn't make waffles.
And this is still the best movie game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you have a dance battle with Puss in Boots.
Right, fine, good. Yep.
There we go. Sold. The best thing about that game is also that Shrek isn't actually voiced by Michael Myers, or Mike Myers, not the Halloween guy, yeah? He's not actually voiced by Mike Myers, he's voiced by someone doing an impression of Shrek, which just makes the whole thing even better, because it's not even Shrek, it's just rip-off Shrek.
Ogres eat nature, not parfaits.
Get out of my swamp.
Ogres.
Oh, ogres have layers. Kill Jester.
Rich, you need to end it.